The year is 1901, and sponge divers off the coast of the Greek island of are searching for treasures from shipwrecks. Instead, they find an old corroded piece of bronze covered in gears. They bring it up to the surface, not knowing they've just recovered the world's first computer, the Antikythera Mechanism. This mysterious device was likely crafted around 200 BC, during the reign of the great astronomer and mathematician, Archimedes, who was known for his inventions of all sorts of crazy contraptions like a death ray and a machine gun. But unlike those inventions, the Antikythera Mechanism survived. For centuries, nobody knew how the device worked or even what it was for. After all, it was encrusted with barnacles and covered in corrosion. It took scientists decades to clean it up and figure out what it did. And what they found shocked them. The Antikythera Mechanism could calculate astronomical positions and predict solar and lunar eclipses. It could track the phases of the moon and the movements of the planets. It could even tell you which day of the Olympic cycle you were in. To put its capabilities in perspective, this thing could do everything from predicting a total solar eclipse down to the minute, to telling you the date of the next Olympic Games. And it did all of this without Google or NASA. It turns out the Antikythera Mechanism was basically a very sophisticated set of calendar computers, all built into one. The device consisted of a series of interconnected bronze gears enclosed in a wooden box, along with a face that displayed various astronomical and calendar-related information, depending on how the device was set. Because many of the letters and numbers on the face had worn away, scientists had to painstakingly clean and restore it. In fact, it took several attempts and different cleaning methods before researchers could make out what it said. Once they did, however, they realized the extent of the device's capabilities. Not only could it calculate and display the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, but it could also predict eclipses by calculating the length of a shadow cast by the moon on the face of the sun. It could track the Olympic calendar, counting down the days until the next games. There were even pointers that told you which months were the best times for planting crops. To say the Antikythera Mechanism was advanced for its time would be a massive understatement. The closest comparable technology didn't appear again until the Renaissance, more than 1,000 years later. Scientists have estimated that the mechanism had somewhere between 12 and 30 different gear wheels inside of it, along with up to 60 different inscriptions around its face. Just figuring out how to manufacture that many precisely meshed gears was incredibly difficult. And the ancient Greeks accomplished this feat without the aid of modern tools or manufacturing techniques. In fact, some historians believe that the Antikythera Mechanism might have been assembled using a technique called lost wax casting, which was common in the ancient world. This method involved creating a mold in the shape of the desired object, filling it with molten metal, letting it cool, and then breaking away the mold to reveal the finished product. However, lost wax casting was never documented in Greece before the discovery of the Antikythera Mechanism. Prior told is the oldest known example of the technique came from China, where archaeologists found evidence of its use in the Shang dynasty around 1600 BC. So either the ancient Greeks learned the technique independently, or they borrowed it from the Chinese, which would have required extensive trade and cultural exchange between the two civilizations. As of right now, scientists still aren't sure exactly how the Antikythera Mechanism worked. There's still a lot that we don't know about this ancient Greek computer, which means there's still a lot that we don't know about the ancient Greeks. Maybe if we had more examples of their inventions, we'd know a lot more. But that's the problem. We don't have more examples. In fact, the Antikythera Mechanism is the only example of its kind. That means we can't be sure if it was a one-off prototype, a mass-produced product, or somewhere in between. It could have been a unique invention by a brilliant engineer, or the culmination of efforts by an entire school of scientific thought. Unfortunately, we simply don't know enough about the context surrounding the Antikythera Mechanism to say for sure. It was probably lost for thousands of years until fishermen hauled it up from the seabed. If that hadn't happened, who knows when we would have found it. Maybe we never would have. So while the Antikythera Mechanism is an incredible invention, and a testament to the ingenuity of the ancient Greeks, it's also a reminder of how much knowledge we've lost over the millennia. How many other inventions from antiquity have been lost forever? How much smarter were the ancient Greeks than we give them credit for? And how much smarter are we than we think we are? Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of the series, where we explore how Alexander the Great's obsession with his own legacy led to the creation of one of history's greatest hoaxes.